We use arithmetic operators when dealing with the mathematics of programming. There is very little programming that does not have some form of mathematics involved, and because of this, we must understand what these mathematics look like in terms of the code and the rules behind using them. Operator precedence determines the order in which mathematical expressions are evaluated. Multiplication, division, and remainder, which is also called modulus, take precedence over addition and subtraction. Parentheses override any precedence, and expressions are evaluated from left to right. Here's a chart that explains what the operator looks like within C# and the description of what it represents, and then here's an example. So let me just point out, this asterisk sign is the operator that we type in C#, and it means multiplication. And so in the code, if we wrote 45 asterisk or multiply 2, the result would be 90. So when we think about this order of precedence in algebra, they teach you the abbreviation PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S, which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, and subtract. Programming also has some sort of order, and in case of a tiebreaker, the evaluation goes from left to right. So they have a shortcut called an add assign operator, and there's a variation in the way that it's written. It equals whatever the variable is plus a new variable, etc., etc. You could do this subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus, and again, this allows a shortcut in the math calculation. So an example would be if I said num1 plus equals num2, what this means is num1 will equal num1 plus num2. Now there's another form of increment and decrement operator, which adds or subtracts the value by 1, and it can be a prefix or a postfix. So let me explain the difference. A prefix increment operator, it will look like this in the code, plus plus sum. It allows a variable to automatically increase its value by 1 before an operation occurs. A postfix is the exact same. This is a prefix except it occurs after an operation occurs, or in other words, it allows a variable to automatically increase its value by 1 after the operation occurs. So the plus plus occurs after the variable. So you can notice the difference on a prefix. The arithmetic operator occurs before the variable, and on the post it occurs after. Just like an increment operator, again we have the decrement operator, which decreases the value by 1, and so the same thing we had before with arithmetic plus or addition. We have double minus sum, which would be the prefix, and the postfix would be sum minus minus. So the same scenario, except the sign of the operator changes. And so if we go back to the chart, we can see that we use minus minus because we're subtracting by 1, and plus plus because we're adding 1. Because we're adding by 1. Now note, increments and decrements are great for sentinel values, or counters, are usually great within loops. But we'll understand this later on when we start talking about loops. And for now, just know that it's a shortcut way to doing mathematics within your code. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to see what arithmetic operators look like within Visual Studio. And so real quick, I'm just going to show you what the order of operator precedence look like in terms of multiplication, division, and remainder. They come first, and then addition and subtractions come second. And if there's a tiebreaker, like there's 4 variables being added together, it goes from left to right. And then I want to show you when you include parentheses, how it basically breaks the rules temporarily and says, I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first, and then I'll go back to my order of operator. So first off, let's do a variable called data type int num1, and we'll have that equal 10 plus 10 operator precedence, even though you have 10 plus 10, technically first from left to right, we always do multiplication first. So this 10 times 10 is going to occur before the 10 plus 10. And then it'll go back aside and add the 10 in. So if we click play, we get the answer 110. Even if we switch this up and we made the plus sign multiplication, and then we make multiplication side plus, it is still going to equal 110. But what if we do parentheses around the 10 plus 10? Parentheses here, then the compiler is going to know to add these two numbers to equal 20 and then times that by 10 to equal 200. As you can see, inside the console screen is 200, so that's how the operator precedence works. And that's how you use parentheses in certain situations to force the computer to do certain steps ahead of time. So if you're confused about math and you're not sure how you're going to get certain things added the correct way, you forget about the precedence and what comes first, just use parentheses and everything to force it to do certain things first. And so this is how